morning with the breaking WURnews of the day. The paper factory Perenco, located in Rancum, has been a major source of a distinctive, unpleasant smell. People living in the area have made multiple complaints at the municipality, yet their demands for an odor-free air have not been met. Scientists from Wageningen University who are sympathizing with the locals went to investigate. Now we tune in with our reporter in Rancum, Jasper, for more details on the situation. Jasper?
Yes, thank you, Susan. We're here on location right now with a team of scientists known as the Sniffer Team. They are here to determine the concentration of odor-causing particles coming from the factory. Now, as I understand, the team are here to answer two research questions. Under which meteorological conditions do the residents of Rancum experience the odor most intensely? And how does the stability of the boundary layer affect how far the odor produced by the Perenco paper factory travels? Hello, could you please tell us about the methods that you will use to determine how many odor-causing particles are in the atmosphere?
Hello, yes. Well, the concentration of the emitted odor is determined by its average source strength, which can be estimated with the Gaussian plume model equation. For that, we use the stack height that is approximately 33 meters, where at the top of the stack the plume is blown with a wind speed of 5 to 7 meters per second to the x direction. Although it can be seen that the plume is also spread to the y and z direction. The horizontal and vertical width of the plume is determined by sigma y and z, which depend on the atmospheric stability and the x value, meaning that the further downwind we are, the wider the Gaussian distribution. The investigation of the concentrations was conducted in the field with an odor panel, also known as a sniffer team. We began biking downwind of the plume towards the factory. The intensity of the odor was determined with an odor unit per cubic meter. All locations at which 2 out of 4 members detected the odor were marked down on a map. Each point represents a location at which the transition from clean to polluted air took place, with a concentration of around 0.5 odor units per cubic meter.
That's fascinating. Thank you for your explanation. So, can you please tell me about what weather conditions lead to the worst odors for the residents of Rancum?
Thank you, Jasper. To answer your question, we first have to discuss our results. First, we determined the source strength for every measurement we took, and then we took the average source strength to use in our model, which was 14.4 million odor units per second. Additionally, we used a wind speed of 4 meters per second in our model. We modeled so we can distinguish between 3 different boundary layer conditions, starting with the unstable conditions. The area in the triangle that you can see on this map is the area that is affected by bad odor, where it's actually distinguishable by people. And then you can see that under neutral conditions in this new map, the triangle has shrunk and become less than half the size. And then again, under stable conditions, the area has shrunk even more to about 60% of the neutral size. However, what has to be taken into account is the graph on the right, which shows that for the first approximately 700 meters, there are very low concentrations which humans cannot smell. So therefore, only the upper area of the triangle, as indicated by the arrows, is area where people could smell the pollution coming from the paper factory. Then additionally, we also investigated the correlation between the concentration and the wind speed, and this is shown to be inversely proportional. So doubling the wind speed would decrease the concentration by half. So those are our results. However, we should also mention that the value we found for Q is likely to be inaccurate due to multiple reasons. First, we had relatively little measurements to base our value on. Also, the wind speed and the wind direction changed a lot during our measurements. Additionally, there are actually 2 sources of emissions. One is a high chimney and another is a lower chimney, which is tens of meters away. Then there's also height differences in Rancum itself. So some houses or areas lay on a hill while others do not. And then we also encountered air parcels which had high concentrations of the odor in them. We noticed this because we moved into the direction of the factory, and then sometimes we would all suddenly smell a really strong chemical smell. But then if we moved further towards the factory, it would suddenly leave. So that indicates that there's air parcels which come down with high concentrations, and also those have lower. And so this is an indicator of mixing that was happening. So this also made it more difficult to get accurate measurements. However, we can still say a couple of things based on our model. We have seen that under unstable conditions, a larger part of the town is affected by the odor than under neutral or stable conditions. Additionally, we have seen that the wind condition affects the concentration. There's a double wind, or the wind speed, I should say. A double wind speed has a negative effect on the concentration at any location, because the concentration will then go down by half. And last but not least, under unstable conditions, due to the plume being so wide, even if the wind direction is necessarily aimed straight at Renkum, but goes off to the side, still a part of the town will be affected. Whereas under stable and neutral conditions, this will be much less due to the narrowness of their plumes.
All right, thank you very much. So using the results of the four-person odor test and Gaussian plume modeling, the team have found that the source strength is around 14.4 million odor units per second. They also predict that during unstable conditions, the entire town must suffer from the smell, and that this can also be exacerbated by low wind speeds. Now we go back to the studio with Susan.
Thank you very much, Jasper. Those were the news of the day. The team of WURnews wishes you an odor-free day.